Thank you very much. I have quite a few slides, so I'm going to go quickly, and we'll come back if there are questions. So I'll thank Gouripeddi for supporting this effort. So we developed a data federation integration platform and have been working on it for some time at the University of Utah. It's called OpenFurther. I'm not going to go into the details of this platform, and I'll interchangeably use federation and integration. In terms of OpenFurther, it is more a governance issue and how you want to implement it. But with respect to this discussion, I think the key components are the metadata repository and the terminal. These two components. So when you talk about data integration, especially heterogeneous data sets, when you have given two data sets, what we would do is try to find what is the relatedness between the two data sets, and then semantically and using metadata integrate the two data sets. The current state of art is discover the metadata and semantics within each source, map the metadata and semantics, then generate transformative functions so that you have semantically consistent queries across the heterogeneous data sets for federation or integration. It relies a lot on human curation. It's not scalable, and we did some work in using this technology for a project called FIS+, where we found that we quantified the amount of human effort when trying to integrate data, clinical data. But I think the same holds good for any other data. So our question here is, can we take the next step? Can we try to let data find itself, and like humans, where we try and find somebody we are interested in, form a group, form an integrated data set that's useful for research? Can we automate or semi-automate the process? And in that respect, can we develop a metadata and semantic mapping service? So that was our high-level background to what we proposed. So the goals of our project were, can we develop a computational infrastructure that supports discovery and mapping of metadata artifacts? It could be an automated or semi-automated, depending on the confidence thresholds required in different implementations. The infrastructure would be agnostic to a specific algorithm or tool, but could combine different tools needed for different domains and depending on the type of data. Choose best available solutions and leverage OpenFurther components of the OpenFurther framework to accomplish this, but actually as a pilot, but eventually actually use similar or equivalent components as well. So we broke up our work into 4 tasks: look at existing tools and methods. Can we take Gouripeddi specifications, metadata specifications, and store it in our metadata repository? Conceptualize an architecture that can use different methods that are existing, and look at machine learning methods for metadata discovery. So I won't go into the details of all of this. We will be publishing the work, and then we send it out to the whole group too. So we looked at existing work. Many of them are not supported at this time. They may not be also applicable to biomedical data. So that was our but more recent approaches, very similar to what are being used in Gouripeddi, like distributed semantics, are becoming the state of art. The second task we looked on was adopting the Gouripeddi specifications into OpenFurther's metadata repository. OpenFurther's metadata repository is an in-house developed, highly generalized and abstracted entity relational model. It can store models of logical models and local models, mappings across the models, administrative information, and translational functions across the models. It can be implemented as a relational database or as a graph database, and the metadata can be exported in various non-proprietary formats using translation programs. So what you have here is that it's not clear, but the basic idea is that everything is represented as an asset. There are associations between assets. Assets have properties, and because it's so generic, you can store almost anything in it. Our idea was, can we take what are the current specifications, version of the specifications, and use this asset association model to store the BioCaddy specifications. The reasons or potential benefits we see is it provides a very flexible data resource storage mechanism. So what we currently have in the metadata repository is more descriptions of things within the resource. By adding this model, we can also describe a resource, which we did not do before. So we can bring both of this together. So what I mean is, if you have a relational data store, you also now know what are the entities and attributes and relations across the entities and attributes, and similarly any other format. You can version different models, you can translate across different models, and it can be made available for different services. So the third part was, can we have a conceptual architecture of metadata discovery and mapping service? The framework should programmatically characterize metadata in a source, have an extensible library of discovery methods and tools. It should be a standalone resource service, and use components of OpenFurther or equivalent for metadata management and ontology or terminology management, and provide various data services like support data federation and integration. So here is a very high-level schematic of what we have in the conceptually is one, given a new data set, we determine the file type or extension, and then we discover what is the file based on the content. This I'll go into a little more as this starts for. Once we determine, for example, it's a PDB file, we see whether the file is characterized already. If yes, we use the stored metadata and ontology descriptions of that, and say that these are the content within the file. If not, this is a more challenging problem. You're given a file, you don't know what it is. We learn content characteristics by doing some structural pattern recognition, and then match with any auxiliary digital objects, like example, if you have a data dictionary and anything else that describes that resource, and then store it in the metadata repository in ontology server. Again, I won't go into all of this. These are various components that are required at this point that are needed to discover metadata. And the last task is doing some machine learning for actually figuring out what is a file based on the content. So the basic idea is, given a file type, we tokenize the file and then do some document processing, and then the classifier to figure out whether it's a PDB file or a CleanVar file, and so on. Some example features that we use are token frequency features, token structural features, and other features like punctuation type and spacing and so on to determine what type of file. So some preliminary results, we were able to, between PDB files, CleanVar files, I don't have here, but environmental and clinical data and some general corpuses with greater than 90% accuracy. We could figure out what type of file it is, and then the next steps would follow. Once you know the type of file, we can use the store to figure out if it's already characterized or not, and so on. So that's at a high level what we did. Next steps, we're going to complete the machine learning work, include some conformity or uncertainty parts to it, publish all the work, share our results. We have a meeting set up with the core development team on 27th, and we look forward to continuing the work through various RFAs and with Gouripeddi and VD2K. These are all our faces. Thank you. Any questions?